Alright, so in this video, we're going to go over some conversions. So, a lot of the times, what people don't realize is that conversions are actually very simple. If you want to go something like millimeter to centimeter, well, there's two different ways we can do it. First of all, what we can say is if we have something like 2 millimeters, we know that for every 1 millimeter, there is 10 to the third, negative third meters. And from there, we know that for every 1 meter, there is 10 to the second centimeters. So what does this mean? Well, when we put this into a calculation, we can say, hey, we have 2 millimeters. If we want to translate this into the base units, we can say for every 1 millimeter, we know that there's 10 to the negative 3 meters. And for every 1 meter, we know that there's 10 to the 2 centimeters. So why did I set it up this way? Well, I know I want to get rid of millimeters and end up with centimeters. Therefore, what I'm going to do is cancel out this millimeter with this millimeter. And then I'll also cancel out this meter with this meter, therefore leaving me in centimeters. Therefore, by doing this calculation, we end up with 2 times 10 to the negative 3 times 10 to the 2 cm. Or better yet, if you do your calculator, you're going to find you get 0.2 centimeters. So from this calculation, we also know that the conversion of millimeter to centimeter is just a conversion of 1 millimeter is equal to 10 to the negative 1 centimeter. Which kind of makes sense because we said that 1 meter is equal to 10 to the 2 centimeter, and we said that 1 millimeter is equal to 10 to the negative 3 meters. Now this is it's a shortcut way of doing it. And unfortunately, unless you do these kind of calculations often, you won't get to kind of see this too much. So let's go ahead and we'll try another example. Let's try something like a kilogram into a microgram. Let's say we have 5 kilograms. Well, we know from the little SI unit table that if you have it up, 1 kilogram is equal to 10 to the 3 grams. We also know that 1 microgram is equal to 10 to the negative 6 grams. Therefore, this conversion is actually going to be 1 kilogram is going to be equal to 10 to the 9 micrograms. How? Well, let's go ahead and plug it in. We have 5 kilograms here. Now we want to cancel out these kilograms. So if we do it the long way, we can say for every 1 kilogram, we get 10 to the third grams. And we know that for every 10 to the negative 6 grams, we have 1 microgram. You can also write 1 gram for every 10 to the 6 micrograms, but again, these are kind of the same idea. What I mean by that is instead of writing it this way, we can simply say 10 to the 6 microgram over 1 gram. Because it's in the negative and it's in the denominator, it can actually go up to the top. But for this course, we're going to leave it like this. Now, what we're going to do is we have it now in micrograms, which is the unit we want it to be in. So, excuse my mistake, we're going to end up with 5 kilograms times, what is this? 10 to the third times 1 over 10 to the negative 6. Sorry, not kilograms. Micrograms. Because what happens to the kilogram? Well, the kilogram cancels out with this kilogram. So don't make the same mistake I do and cancel out your units. This gram cancels out with this gram, so we're left with micrograms. Which, by the way, this is the same thing as 5 times 10 to the 9 microgram. Therefore, for every 1 kilogram, we get 10 to the 9 micrograms. In this case, we only have a 5 attached to it because this is in front of the kilogram. So for instance, if we had something like 3.5 kilograms, and we want to translate that to micrograms, we're going to find the exact same thing. If you plug in 3.5 to here instead, we're going to get 3.5 kilograms, gets rid of this one, gets rid of this one, left in micrograms. So we'll end up with 3.5 times 10 to the 9 micrograms. Don't trust me? Put it in your calculator, see how it goes. All right, so for one last example, let's say we have some very weird unit, such as a picometer. Why isn't this working? A picometer. So let's say we have 33.5 picometers, and we want to translate that into millimeters. Well, this conversion is weird because we know that 1 picometer is equal to 10 to the negative 12 meters. And we also know that 1 millimeter is equal to 10 to the negative 3 meters. Or you could say that 1 meter is equal to 10 to the 12 picometers, and 10 to the 3 millimeters is equal to 1 meter. Again, these are equivalent. Just watch out which one's positive, which one's negative, and stuff like that. Same thing for this. These are all equivalent. So let's go ahead and plug this in real quick then. We know that we have 33.5 picometers. To get rid of picometers, what we're going to do is let's do the easier version of 1 picometer for every 10 to the negative 12 meters. And if we want to cancel out meters, let's go ahead and use this version right here. We have 1 meter for every 10 to the third millimeter. In the end, what we're going to get is, after canceling out units, which I always forget to do, we're going to get rid of the picometers with this picometers, and we're also going to get rid of this meter with this meter. So we're left in, as you guessed it, folks, millimeters. Therefore, we're going to have 33.5 times 10 to the negative 12 times 10 to the 3 millimeters. Or if you put this in your calculator, like I definitely recommend to do, you're going to find 33.5 times 10 to the 9 millimeters, which means that for every 1 picometer, we have 10 to the 9 picometer, we have 1 millimeter. Or if you want to do it the other way, for every 1 picometer, we have 10 to the negative 9 millimeter. Now, how do I know this? Because we're going from something small to something bigger. For this case, the something small to bigger will result in a negative exponent, but going from something bigger to something smaller will result in a positive exponent. How do I know that? Just from practice and repetition, which I highly encourage you to do. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as possible. All right, thank you so much.